whatever you want for your life, stop minimizing it. Stop minimizing it so that you can look cool in front of your friends. Stop minimizing what you want because you don't think it's realistic that a man will ever treat you the way you deserve to be treated. Stop minimizing for other people because it's not their life. You're the only person who's gonna be in this body and the only person who's gonna get to experience the things that you wanna experience. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Too Smart for This. It's your host, Alexis Farber. Introducing myself every time feels so crazy, but here we are, back with another episode. This has been such a crazy month, September, and I'm very excited for everything that's going on, including our new Too Collective, Too Chill launch. So if you have not already, make sure you are subscribed to the waitlist because this waitlist is getting long. These are gonna go fast and I'm really excited for you guys to have it in your arms. I'm wearing it right now and it is the most comfortable thing and it's so perfect for this season. So make sure you're doing that. And if you haven't already, check out the Too Smart for This Plus because we have really fun content in there too. But today I really kind of want to talk about something that has been a major mindset shift for me lately. And it kind of goes, it's not even a shift because this is the funny thing about all the wisdom that comes to the surface when you're going through major transformation. And it's that it was in you all along because the reason I started Too Smart for This years ago, literally December 2020, was that I recognized that I was spending too much time focused on things that were not bringing me the fulfillment I wanted and that were simply stupid, that were simply not worth my time. And I could have been using all of my energy to focus on things that really mattered. And let me give you some color to this. So while I was in college, I was very much focused on being a perfectionist and looking cool and being getting everything done, having the best resume, blah, 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 blah. And I was super afraid of judgment from other people. And I really was chasing perfection. And part of that led to me following a really crazy diet and being very obsessed with what I looked like and essentially starving myself. There were times where I would be what's wrong with me? Because I'm so hungry, I shouldn't be hungry. And I thought something was genuinely wrong with me. And it was because I literally just wasn't eating enough because the diet I was on was telling me that eating between 800 and 1100 calories a day was okay. And I thought that's what I needed to do to be perfect, was to be smaller. And I spent so much energy on that. And then COVID hit and I was spending even more energy on that. And then June 2020 hit. And obviously if you're a Black person or if you're a person in general, you know the racial reckoning we had in this country at that time. And that was such a dark time, but it was a time where I realized hold on, there is so much going on in this world that I have been forgetting, that I haven't been really tuned into because I've been so focused on really trivial things like my appearance. And my opinion on appearance and stuff has changed since, obviously, but I was literally a political science major. I was going to work at Google, I am a smart person, and I was focusing my energy not on learning how to be a better person, not on connecting with my community and building genuine friendships and showing up for the people that I love. And it was really built on this anxiety about whether I was good enough, and that was consuming me. And what I recognized was someone said in my DMs something I know so many girls who are so focused on their diets and stuff, and they have great minds, but they're so focused on just being perfect, and they're just too smart to do that. And honestly, that's how I felt. I'm too smart for this. I'm way too I am using my brain for things that do not matter. And I truly, since then, have noticed this pattern in so many of my incredibly successful and amazing girlfriends who are so amazing. I don't want to call anyone out or give any examples, but so many of my best friends have these careers and these accolades that are so impressive. And I'm how do you wake up every day and do this? And how are you also fun and also fashionable and you're also going on trips and you're connecting with your family, you're doing so much. And then when we get to brunch and we sit down and talk, you are complaining to me about a dusty ass man? You're complaining to me about staying friends with the girl that has been basically your frenemy bullying you since the sophomore year of college, and you're letting it take up all your energy instead of this massive promotion you just got at your finance job? Like, you're letting some ex of yours who pops back into your DMs every 3 to 6 business months and still has a girlfriend but always wants to say something to you consume your energy when you are literally making waves in your community and have new creative projects every single, like, these are real conversations I have with my girlfriends, and I know you guys have been in this situation too, where you're sitting with your friend listening to her complain about something again, and you're like, girl, like, you are way too hot for this. You're way too interesting to be with this man. You're so much cooler than this girl who's pissing you off. You have so much more empathy than your mother who is yelling at you about something. Like, you are like, you want to shake them and be like, you are too good for this. And I have come back to this ethos in the past couple of months because when I went through all my like boy problems of the last year, what ended up ending the last one was that he was telling me my standards were too high and that my expectations for what I wanted in my life and my aspirations were just too high, and that you can't have emotional stability and emotional support and financial support from a partner. Like, you shouldn't expect all of that, and that I was basically like just too it wasn't, he was making me into a villain. But I have had 2 or 3 other situationships or random guys that I've been involved with over the last year who've said to me, one of them even admitted kind of bravely, like, yo, like, yeah, I never texted you back because I honestly feel like you're too successful for me and you're too, like, I don't know, like, you've got so much going on and just didn't make me feel good about myself. And I recognize through all these different patterns of, like, being with these guys is that it's not that my standards were too high, it's that I was lowering them for people and, like, allowing them into my life, even though I knew that they weren't necessarily, like, had the same standards or had the same expectations, or that they weren't really what I wanted. And I was letting it happen and trying to force it to happen anyway. And when I look back at it, I'm like, duh, of course it didn't work. Like, the signs were all there. But I do pride myself on being a lover girl, obviously. Like, I believe in love and want to see the best in people. And so I don't regret doing any of this. But I have to say, like, I wanted to shake myself and be like, you're too smart for this. You know that you need your partner to be someone who's on your level financially, who's on your level with the same level of ambition as you, and who has a desire to be generous and supportive in the relationship in the same way that you do. And you have to, like, you can only do that. And basically, like, if you want to have a happy and healthy relationship, that's something that you have to look for. And you also have to be okay with being alone during it. But it made me think of a couple of quotes that I want to share with you today, because what I want you to take away from this episode is that, like, we cannot waste our potential. Because in the words of Nicki Minaj, I hate wasted potential, barbs, stay in school. That's all I can think of anytime I think of this. But, like, when you look at your friend and you see all the time she's wasting on a dude who you're like, what the fuck? That's how all my friends were for the past year. And, like, when you see a friend of yours who's wasting their time being so concerned about working out and eating perfectly when they are missing out on having fun at a young age, like, you want to shake them. And, like, I hate the idea that we are wasting our youth, wasting our happiness, our time, our precious time that we get to connect with each other on things that don't matter and things that we shouldn't be focused on. And 2 of the reasons that I think that this happens a lot for women is that, 1, we don't allow ourselves to want what we really want, and that we are people who are really focused on, I guess a lot of us have sort of learned that, like, when the group or the collective is good, or when you people please, that you'll be safe and you'll be okay. And that's how I was for a long time. Like, if everybody thought I was cool, or if I was perfect, or if I got the perfect grades, or if I did everything right, then everything would be okay. And there's some truth to that. I mean, having financial stability and having, access to resources is something that is very helpful for me and has made a lot of my life largely okay. However, at the same time, I still am never going to feel a sense of fulfillment if I don't actually allow myself to want what I genuinely want. And what I mean is like the little pipe dream in the back of your head that you're like, I know that like that's never going to happen, but like it's still what I want. That's a real desire. And until you explore that desire and make sure it's true, make sure it's coming from your intuition, but until you explore that desire and admit that it's actually what you want, then there's no room for it to come in, because if you don't believe that you can have something, then you're not gonna get it. Like, you like that fucking Perks of Being a Wallflower, that movie, girl, John Green, I think it was John Green, I don't know if it was or not, but that whole thing had a chokehold on like the middle school of that I lived in. So basically, I remember that the big quote in that was, we accept the love we think we deserve. And I did not get it at that time. And it's still hilarious to me that I'm bringing up in a podcast episode years and years later, but that is so true. Because there was also that viral TikTok that's like, if you want to see how much a woman loves herself, look at who she chooses to date. Look at who she chooses to surround herself with. Wow, that'll get ya. And it's like, if you don't think that the people around you or the life you're creating for yourself reflects how much you love yourself, it's because you aren't believing that you deserve it. And believing you deserve it starts with admitting that that's what you want and that's what you need. And it can be hard to do that, and you have to do a little bit of reflection here, because for me, I would be like, oh, I don't deserve to have success because I'm not perfect. That was really the narrative that I was still living with all these years later, of unpacking my perfectionism, reading all the books, going to therapy. In my heart and my soul, I still, at the end of the day, when I sat with it for a little bit, where I was like, why don't I deserve this relationship or this success that I'm looking for? It's because I was thinking, because I'm not perfect. And it's like, if I'm not perfect, I can't expect my reality to give me what I want. And that comes down to me believing I had to be perfect to enjoy life. And you know that's not true. We know that's not true, because you think of the richest person in the world, they're not perfect. And just because they have a financial abundance doesn't mean they're perfect. It's about being more human and being more you and being more in tune with what you desire and okay with who you are, not being more perfect. We can always strive to be better people, but just because you've made a mistake in the past does not mean that you don't deserve happiness long term. And even as I'm saying that, that is so hard for me to say, because it's so deeply ingrained in me that we have to be perfect to be happy, and we don't. And that's something I'm working on unpacking, but it's important for us to ask ourselves, like, if the next time you look at something or a relationship or an ideal of yours, to ask yourself, why not me? If not me, then who? Like, it's very important to think about that. And admitting what you want starts with allowing yourself to dream big. And I want to read you guys an excerpt from my forthcoming journal. It'll come out this spring. It's the Too Smart for This guided journal. And I want to read you guys an excerpt from it that I was thinking about during this time that was helping me, because I can't even believe I wrote this. Like, I go back and I look at this journal when I'm doing edits and I'm like, wait, who wrote this, girl? Like, was it you? Like, but this is the thing. All of our wisdom, everything we need is always within us, even if we're not acting it out every single day, but we have to go within and have that self-reflection to really get there. But let me read this to you. When you deny yourself what you want, you deny everyone who comes after you that gift as well. So as you embark on this next section of the journal, I beg you not to hold back on deciding what you want. Women have settled for so long. We have swallowed our tongues, run the world from the sidelines, and ignored our aspirations to protect our safety. We've contorted ourselves into perfect beings, only to be undermined and destroyed for that same perfection. If you're lucky enough today to have an ounce of ambition, a snippet of what you want for yourself, it is not only your destiny to go after it, it's what's best for the entire world and everyone coming after you. And it does give me chills to read that, because I must have channeled it from somewhere. But when you deny yourself what you want, you deny yourself fulfillment. Because if you can't have this happiness, how can anyone after you have this happiness? Think of your future children, think of your siblings, think of the young people in your life. You want for them happiness. And if you don't, it's because something's up, you know what I mean? But you want for them to have joy and happiness, and even though they make mistakes, you don't look down on them. You're like, you made a mistake, let's move forward. You still deserve everything you want. And if you want that for them, if you really want that for them, you have to allow it for yourself too. And you have to remember you are too smart to be focused on other things that don't matter to you when you have these things that you genuinely want to bring into your life. And when I was thinking about relationships, especially when in that breakup conversation I was being told, like I have been so many times this year, that I'm too much and that I am too successful and that I'm intimidating to guys and too high of standards for what I should expect from men, I was like, you know what though? Like, I don't think they're too high at all. I'm actually pretty unapologetic now about what I want from someone. And that's one, because I can provide it all for myself. I don't really need a man. But two, it's because I think of my sisters and I think of my future children. And I want for them what I want for myself. And I can't expect them to have what I would want for them if I can't even accept it for myself. If I can't let that love in, if I can't expect that there is someone out there who meets all of those qualifications, or if I can't expect that I'm gonna be the person who can make this business into a massive, amazing thing and build this community of ambitious women and to be a massive influencer in the way I wanna be, if I can't believe that for myself and embody it and receive it and do the work and create what I need to create to do that, then why would my younger sisters believe it was possible for them? Why would my future children believe it was possible for them if I didn't at least try and if I didn't at least expect that greatness from my world and from myself? And this is so important for us to remember, like, whatever you want for your life, stop minimizing it. Stop minimizing it so that you can look cool in front of your friends. You've got to change your environment and find friends that have similar ambitions to you, okay? Stop minimizing what you want because you don't think it's realistic that a man will ever care about you the way you deserve to be, or treat you the way you deserve to be treated. Stop minimizing for other people because it's not their life. You're the only person who's going to be in this body and the only person who's going to get to experience the things that you want to experience. And if you deny yourself even the opportunity to achieve those experiences, you are setting yourself up for failure and sadness. And also, you have to remember from this, God will never let you get comfortable, or the universe will never let you get comfortable somewhere that you don't belong. So when you deny yourself what you truly want, when you deny yourself from believing that you can have what your true desires are, you're just going to keep running into problems in your current situation. You're just going to keep getting signs that are like, oh my God, you're just going to keep having one of those days where everything goes wrong because you are not supposed to be there. It's like when you see a woman that stays in a relationship with a man for too long and you start to see that their body is rejecting it. And this happened to me in one of my situationships this year where like I was getting sick and I was getting bloated and having all these problems, and it was because I think my body was rejecting the situation I was in. And you can see that in so many different ways, and it's like then everything goes wrong. I have a friend who was just going through it this past year, like could not catch a break. And I was like, it's because you don't belong here. This isn't your life. You're not meant to be doing what you're doing. You are shrinking yourself, you're shrinking your ambitions, and you are living in this world where you're not really giving yourself what you need and you're not allowing yourself to want what you really, really want. And therefore, that's why you're running into all these problems. That's why you have all these issues, because God will never let you get comfortable there. There will always be a lesson, and if you don't integrate the lesson, you can't move forward. So it's better to believe that what you want and what you are looking to create in your life is possible for you and go after it there and have the lessons on the way be preparing you for that, instead of being stuck in a world where you're like, I know I can't have what I want, so I guess I'll just give up, because the universe is not going to let you give up. It's either going to push you forward and force you into situations where your true desire is on the way, which is like kind of how I feel like a lot of my life has been, because I've been too scared to embody what I truly want. Or you're going to get there, or you're going to be stuck in a situation where you are not feeling good, and the only way out is to level up your ideals for what you believe your life can be. And so whenever you're stressed about this going forward, think about main character energy, okay? I want you to think about if you're watching yourself in a TV show, and what would you want your character to be doing, because you can always tell when someone doesn't really want to be somewhere or where something really isn't working. And you know when you're watching the character, you're like, bro, you need to leave your job. Like in Insecure, with Issa is working at that nonprofit and that crazy boss is like, bro, you know you need to step it up. Or we know you love Lawrence, so let's be serious. Like those types of things, think about that. And I have to think about that a lot when I'm not in the mood to do something, or when I'm about to slip back into an old habit. I'm like, hold on, what would my audience say about this? What would, if I was in a TV show, you know? So I'm hoping that what you take away from this episode is inspiration to really sit with your desires and your dreams and be honest about it. And then to think, why don't you feel like you deserve that? And to figure out a bridge between those two things of allowing yourself to feel like you deserve those things, because you either allow yourself to feel like you deserve it and you go after it, knowing that there will be ups and downs in your journey, but that you'll get there, or you get pushed into that cycle again of turmoil and chaos and this and that, and you don't know what's going to happen, and pain, honestly, or you get pushed into that cycle of pain. And so figuring out how you can create that deservingness within yourself is the best thing you can do, because again, everyone around you is looking around and they're like, oh, you know she's got so much potential. Oh, you know she could do this. Or, oh, you know she could be better if she just wasn't in that relationship. Or, you know she could be better if she just, you know, got a new job, or if she just advocated for herself a little more. And think about that. Like, don't waste your potential. Don't waste your time, okay? Women have wasted enough time, okay? We've got enough on our plates. We can do more and we can have what we want. Anyone who's saying otherwise is just scared. And so this is what's been on my heart for the past couple of weeks, and it's what my mindset is as I'm like moving through this new period of my life. I love you guys so much. So much. Don't forget to follow us everywhere. Check out our new drop. Listen to the past episodes. Subscribe to Too Smart for This Plus, blah, blah, blah. But most importantly, don't forget that you are too smart to not love yourself. And I'm saying that not just as the end of the episode quip or whatever, but because it's true. Nobody's going to love yourself for you. Nobody's going to do it. You have it within you just by the sheer act of wanting to better yourself, or even listening to this, like, you know that you are meant for better things. So don't delay that anymore. You're too smart for it. Okay, love you. See you next week.